All right, so it's later in the day and I have all the kids in bed, and so I'm going to go over all of our supplies that we've gotten so far, which are all the base supplies that you'll need for the whole year, not counting anything extra for specific science or social studies or type of craft things, like you've got the clay and the yarn and things like that. But everything that you're going to need to do your basic language arts, math, writing, reading, that sort of thing that's required by Oak Meadow. So I had to get most of my things online, and I used Amazon and Michaels. And last year I had a better deal. I'm going with Michaels, and I'll share that video up here. But I found a lot of great sales for Michaels last year, and they just didn't even have them this year. I might be too late or too early comparatively, but as far as I know, they don't have some of these products anymore either. So the first box I got was my Amazon, because I have Prime, and I had just ordered some things that I couldn't find at Michael's from Amazon. And the first one was for my first grader, which was the Wise Enchanter. When we did first grade 2 years ago with my oldest, I liked most of Oak Meadow's fairy tales that connect with a letter, but there were some that were just written very poorly, and it wasn't from a moral aspect that I disagreed with it, or it wasn't an issue of disagreeing with the themes or anything like that. They were just written really poorly, to the point that I thought they didn't sound very good, and my child didn't think they sounded very, very good. So I thought this year I would for sure get this, which is pretty much the #1 recommended supplement for first grade for the alphabet. The difference is with Oak Meadow, each singular story goes with a letter, both uppercase and lowercase, because you're doing lowercase in first grade. And this is one singular story, and each chapter goes with a letter. And I believe the picture is just uppercase, so you'll have to be creative with making lowercase. What I think I'm going to do is do both, because you usually get 2 letters per week, and so that's plenty of days to separate between the one Oak Meadow story and the chapter in this book. And then when I get to Oak Meadow stories that I don't really care for, I'll just either do something else, or I just will skip the Oak Meadow and just do this. But I haven't read through it yet. Obviously, you should do that as a homeschool parent. You should always read through everything before your child does, especially if they're going to read it by themselves. That way you know if you agree with it or what they're going to do when they read it, because they might freak out about something because you didn't realize something was in there. But I haven't read through it completely yet, but I've skimmed through it and I really like it. So I'm excited for this. It was $12 on Amazon, which is a great deal, because I've seen it around $15 on the used Waldorf sites. So $12 on Amazon for first grade substitute for fairy tales. The next thing I got from Amazon were these beeswax crayons. I got these last year for a great deal at Michael's. I think they were like $3 for 24 beeswax crayons in the little carrying case. I got them again because they held up wonderfully. I have a big box of where crayons basically go to die, and I still have quite a few of these in there. My third grader is going to be using when she uses crayons. So this is for my first grader, because first grade they write everything in crayon, and they recommend beeswax because there really is a difference. I'm not a hater of Crayola. I like Crayola too, but there is a difference, and it is kind of special to have special school crayons. I did a review, which I will share, about the difference between Crayola and these specific beeswax crayons. So I'll put that up here if you're interested in that. I have had some people say that the Stockmar, which is what Oak Meadow recommends a lot, are better than this, but I don't even think the beeswax ratio is different. I think it's still like 10% beeswax, and so I thought about buying Stockmar. They are like 20 some dollars though, and the Amazon reviews recently were really bad. They were saying that the crayons were coming in broken, some were missing, the boxes were all bent up, and I just thought I didn't want to risk it. I knew this was a safe bet, and on Amazon it was $10. So $10 for 24 crayons is pretty pricey, but like I said, they're beeswax, they last forever. Like, we basically have a whole other set in there that are half, you know, nubs that by now, because 2 kids used them last year. But highly recommend these. This brand is at Faber-Castell. This was the brand that we used pretty much for everything last year: watercolor, colored pencils, and beeswax crayons, because I got great deals on them at Michael's. But I couldn't even find these on Michael's this year at Michael's, so I had to get them on Amazon, and they were like $11. So that's another first grade item. And then let's see, what was the next thing I got? Oh, the next thing I got these sheet protectors, 100 of them for like 10 bucks. I'm going to use them in Matthew C binders, so that way hopefully I won't have to buy new workbooks every year. I can just have a binder with worksheets tucked into these, and my kids can use dry erase to answer the problems. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's something I'm going to try, because to buy a new student pack is $42. And then of course when you buy like the full teacher pack, it's like 80 some. But I would have to continually buy the student pack with every child, because it's a workbook with tear out worksheets. And so I would like to be able to reuse them through 4 kids. So I'm going to try that this year. So I got this from Amazon as well. It was like $10. So the next 2 things I got go with the sheet protectors. They're just 2 simple binders. I got them from Kroger because they were on sale, since all the school supplies are on sale now that public school is back in session. And these are really strong, durable ones. And I tried to get ones that went with the color scheme of Matthew C, green for Alpha. I think Beta is like orangish color, but this was the closest I could find. It's like a pinkish color with blue on the inside. So this is what I'm going to try to do. This along with the protectors, and then put the sheets in here. And if it works out, or if it doesn't work out, I'll probably do a video about it anyway. These were about $3 a piece, so $6 altogether for the binders. And I just got these at Kroger, so I didn't have to worry about ordering those or anything. But they go along with the sheet protectors from Amazon. Ooh, they just fell on the ground. And then, oh, the final thing I did get from Amazon was this pencil sharpener. It was specifically the Lyra brand. It's got a really big hole for large, what do they call them, Furby or chubby pencils. You can see here. I know a lot of people use it for like lip pencils or special types of, I don't know, special types like oil pastels or whatever. Anything that has a huge circumference like that. So I had to get one of these for the pencils we got for 3rd grade, because it wouldn't fit in a normal pencil sharpener. And I just took the safe bet, and I went with the same brand, hoping that it works out. I haven't had great luck with pencil sharpeners in the past, so we'll just have to see. So that was $8 from Amazon. I don't think I could find that at Michael's either. So that was it from Amazon. So it was like $47 altogether. I have Prime, so I have free shipping. And then the rest of my stuff was from Michael's. And it came in 2 shipments, which was kind of weird. But the first one the first package was just these pencils. And they're a little beat up because they were kind of like in a little envelope, like one of those little foamy envelopes. And so I'm a little frustrated about that, because if you know anything about these pencils, they are not cheap. Now, the reason I even started ordering things from Michael's this year was because of this. I get the emails, and I got a 40% off coupon, which if you get the emails, you know you're always getting 40 and 50% off coupons off one item. Very rarely do you get them off your entire order, but off one item a lot. And so these were I want to say they were $21 or $23 on Amazon, which seems insane for pencils. At Michael's, they were $26, but I used the 40% coupon, and they were actually $16.19, which still is expensive for colored pencils, but this is what 3rd grade is supposed to use for basically all your writing. And I really wanted to make sure that I got the thick ones this year, especially since we'll be doing cursive for the first time, because the thicker pencils, they don't show as many mistakes. and you're really not trying to go for perfection right now, right? You're just trying to learn the shapes of writing and just enjoy it while you're learning it. It's not supposed to be about getting it exactly the way your parent does it or exactly the way the book shows it. So this is supposed to be for the main lesson books in cursive writing in print. And everyone that I've talked to about it said that they last a really long time. So they're full size. If you get the Lyra Furby, what are they called? These are super Furby. If you get the other Furby that do not say Waldorf on the top, they're about half this size. And I almost got those because they're a little bit cheaper from Amazon. But I saw in the reviews that they were small. And if I'm going to spend a lot of money on a pencil, I want it to last a long time. And there were a lot of reviews that said that these lasted many, many years and that they were just wonderful. And so I'm hoping that they will last many years for many students. And they will do the job of hiding little mistakes to gain confidence in writing, right? So maybe I'll do a review on these. And in second grade, you do colored pencils as well. But I got little ones that were triangle from the same brand, the Faber-Castell, I think is how you say it. And they were good, but they were thinner. And so I really wanted to make sure to get the thicker ones this year with us learning cursive. So that was the first thing I got from Michael's, $16. The next thing I got from Michael's was the Quick Knit Loom Kit. In first grade, we did this type of loom for knitting because I don't knit with needles and I have zero interest in knitting with needles. And part of handicraft is that you do it and your child wants to come along and do it with you. And I enjoy crocheting, but I literally have no interest in knitting whatsoever. So I'm not gonna sit there and teach myself how to knit just to sit there and do it, sorry. So I got this because this is so easy, and I actually learned how to do this with YouTube videos, and it's fun. And my first grader, she figured out how to do it in like a day. But when I did it with her, I only bought like this size probably, I think, of loom. And it actually makes like toddler hats. And so like this is an adult hat. So I knew that when we went back to first grade, I was just gonna buy the whole kit. And this was about $16. And you can get it a little bit cheaper at Walmart. But of course I was trying to get the colored pencils. So I went ahead and spent like $1 more getting this at Michael's. And it's in a little case, but really, like, look at that. There's already a hole in it, so that's not too cool. But it came with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It came with 4 looms and then a needle and then the little hook, which, if you know anything about knitting looms, and then of course they have all these other types too. But if you are interested in this, there are a bunch of YouTube out there about it, but there's one channel called like Luma Hat, which I pretty much used, and she makes scarves on it, and she makes bags on it, and all kinds of things with them, so it's not just for hats. But my daughter's really excited about making hats with little pom-poms on the top for everyone for Christmas. So, sounds good to me, and I bet my third grader will use it too. So this was Michael's, 15 or 16 bucks. And then the last thing that I got from Michael's were our main lesson books. And I've got our main lesson books from Michael's last year too. I get the $5 Artist Loft ones. They have great paper. You can get them in good size, and they're $5. You really can't beat it. And so these look a little different than last year's because last year's they were yellow. So I don't know if it's the same kind, it's just a different color, or if maybe I got 50 sheets instead of 70 or whatever. I can't remember, but I know they were $5. And so these are the ones that I got. Artist Loft. I think Artist Loft is maybe a Michael's. Yeah, Artist Loft is a Michael's brand, so you have to get them at Michael's. You can't really get these at Walmart or whatever. You'd have to get the equivalent of it. I really wanted 11 by 14 because I like having a bigger sheet size, but this is fine. These are 9 by 12, so it's still a good size. It's got the spiral bound, which I think is bound, which is really, really important. And it's just, I think, let's see, these you can't tear out, which I actually like because they're supposed to stay in there, right? I got 4 starting out, 1 for my first grader and 3 for my third grader. We don't do open metal math, so I do not have to worry about having a math main lesson book. I just do language arts, alphabet for my first grader, and then you have your science main lesson book, and then you have your language arts / social studies one for third grade is what I'm reading so far. So that just puts us at 3 right away. And then I'll have one extra one if we decide that we want to get a different book. And in a few months, when we start to get towards the end of these books, I'll order more. But I just wanted to get some because I might find a better deal, and I want to stay open to getting more down the line that are cheaper. So I got 4 of these, and I wanted to just do a comparison here because I actually found these today when I was rummaging around my old curriculum. With our first grade, the first time, I actually bought a lot of stuff from Oak Meadow because I won a giveaway for like, I think it was like $100 or $150, you know, like a blog contest or something. And so I just got a gift certificate 2 years ago. This is what the main lesson book looked like when you got it from Oak Meadow. It's very thin, it's kind of flimsy, it has a really small binding, but it has like this onion skin, they call it, in between each page. That's kind of like, it's a little thicker than like what you would consider like if you've ever like flipped through a Bible. It's a little bit thicker than that type of page in between, and it's supposed to keep one page from rubbing onto the next page. I didn't really see a utility in it, but some people might really prefer that. Actually, I think in some instances my daughter drew on that page, but like, yeah. So this is part of her first grade. So if you can just see, it is a little bit, let's see. Oh, actually it's not any bigger. It's a little bit bigger down here at the bottom. There's a little bit, what is that, maybe half an inch or an inch there, maybe a little bit there, but it's just a lot thinner. And I think Oak Meadow sells them in groups of 3, so I have a red one, a purple one, and a yellow one or something. It is really cute to have them in these little colors and everything, but that's just kind of a reference if these are still the same ones that they sell. I know a lot of people ask, should I get the ones from Oak Meadow? And really, it's just up to you. I mean, you can get them cheaper. And not everybody keeps their main lesson books after the end of the year. Some people throw them away or whatever. I don't know. So, these were $5 a piece. I bought 4, so they're $20. So, my total at Michael's, I think if you spend over $49, you get free shipping. And I spent like $52. And this is pretty much my supply list completed. The only other things I need to get are, I'll get the primary colors in temper paint from Walmart. At some point they're like $2 a bottle. I'll get the big bottles. I still have watercolor from last year, and they were the Faber-Castell watercolor with the circle colors, and they're still like mostly there. Like they didn't even get probably halfway through the little tab of color. So they were wonderful, and I couldn't find those on Michael's either. I only saw them on Amazon. They were like $7, which is way more than I spent last year on them anyway. I have a hair in my mouth. And, oh, yarn. I'll have to go get yarn, and I want my kids to pick out the kind of yarn that they are going to use. So they need to be with me to decide what kind of yarn they want for their projects. I'm not going to do that to them. So other than that, there's really nothing else that I need to get started. Now obviously you're gonna need things for art projects and special crafting things like clay, if you're gonna do the homemade clay, or the beeswax, if you're gonna do the beeswax modeling, or modeling wax, right? For science experiments, they'll say like you need a rock, or you'll need this, or you'll need a lamp or whatever. And obviously a lot of that stuff you'll just have at your house, or you'll plan ahead of time to go to the store and get it. But these are the things that the main curriculum requires daily. Your kid will be working in the main lesson book daily, and they'll need their specific writing utensil daily. And so altogether I spent a little under $100, and that is including a couple things for Math UC, which for Oak Meadow all you would need is just one other main lesson book, a math book, especially by third grade, because you're not really doing the math gnomes anymore. So under $100 for everything for the year that we're just going to be using throughout the entire year. I will share my planning when I get more into it. I've done the first 2 lessons for 3rd grade, and I still need to do 4 lessons for 1st grade and 3 and 4 for 3rd grade. And then I'll kind of show how I think I'm going to combine them for the first month, and we'll try that out. And then however it doesn't work, or what works, what doesn't work, we'll switch it from there. But I'll show you when I get that completed how it looks. As far as I know, we're good to go. We still have a couple more weeks of school, we still have a couple more weeks of summer. So I've got time. Thanks for watching.